Nobody realized the killer was the one they trusted the most, until it was already too late. You ever hear a story that makes you stop everything you're doing and rethink the people you trust? Well, this is one of those stories. Imagine a neighborhood where everyone knows everyone. The kind of place where people hold doors for each other, where the mailman talks to you like an old friend, and where everyone treats each other like families. Most channels hide the real details. I don't. My name is Troy, and I'm here to get the full story. Every fact that actually matters. But YouTube won't show you the next case unless you're subscribed. If you don't hit that button now, this is the last video of mine you'll see. And the next case is even crazier than this one. So hit subscribe, then drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Now imagine waking up one day and realizing that the person you trusted with your life may have been the reason people around you were dying. That's what happened in a quiet town thousands of miles from America. But the fear, the betrayal, the shock, because when trust breaks, it shatters everything. And today, we're going to talk about one of the most chilling stories you'll ever hear. A story about power, control, and a man who hid behind the perfect mask. A man the world would come to know as Dr. Death. Before Harold Shipman became the most notorious doctor in modern history, he was just a kid from a small town. Nothing about him screamed monster. If anything, he looked like the kind of guy who'd help you carry groceries to your car or give you a polite smile in line at the pharmacy. Clean-shaven, neatly dressed, calm. Someone your parents would trust instantly. And that's the terrifying part. Predators don't look like villains in real life. They look normal. They talk normally. They blend right in. Shipman grew up quiet, reserved. Not exactly the popular kid, but not the weird outsider either. Just one of those people who fades into the background. But like many dark stories, this one starts with something emotional. His mother. Shipman adored her. She had cancer, and when the pain got bad, her doctors used morphine to ease her suffering. Young Harold watched how the drug made her calm, peaceful, almost serene, and something in him changed. He never said it. He never wrote it down. But that moment, watching morphine remove pain so completely, planted a seed in his mind. A seed that would grow into something twisted. As an adult, Shipman became a doctor. Not just a doctor, a community doctor, the kind towns love. We'd compare it to that family physician who's been treating your whole street for 20 years. The one who knows your kids' names, remembers your birthday, and asks about your job like he genuinely cares. That was Shipman. He walked into people's homes, sat on their couches, knew their routines, their fears, their health problems. He became woven into their everyday lives, and that's what made him so dangerous. But behind the polite smile and calm voice, something darker was growing. In the 1970s, doctors noticed something strange about him. He was young, energetic, but he kept disappearing. He'd slur his words sometimes. He looked tired, unfocused, jittery. Turned out he was secretly injecting himself with drugs. Morphine. The same thing he watched ease his mother's pain. He got caught. He went to rehab. People forgave him. The system forgave him. No one expected what he would do with that second chance. Shipman moved to a small, peaceful community. Hyde. Think of a suburban American town. Quiet, low crime, clean streets, friendly neighbors who bring each other pies on holidays. The kind of place where everybody waves when they drive past. In a town like that, a doctor doesn't just work there. He becomes part of the foundation. Patients loved him. Families trusted him. Elderly women adored him. He was gentle, patient, respectful, and that became his hunting ground. This is where the story gets darker. People started dying. But the deaths didn't look suspicious. They weren't violent. They weren't messy. There were no signs of a struggle. No bruises, no trauma. Just quiet, peaceful deaths. Shipman would show up, pronounce them dead, offer condolences, and leave. And everyone believed him, because why would a doctor lie? He was the expert. He was the authority. He was the one person everyone trusted without question. We trust doctors the same way. When a doctor says someone passed peacefully, nobody argues. But behind those peaceful deaths was a man who was choosing who lived and who died. The first person who sensed something was wrong wasn't a cop. It wasn't a detective. It was an undertaker. He noticed something odd. Shipman's patients were dying in unusually high numbers, and not just anywhere. They were dying in their homes, often sitting neatly in their favorite chairs, fully dressed, as if they'd just paused life for a moment. Death isn't usually that tidy. He tried warning local authorities. Nobody listened. Because how do you accuse a doctor, the most trusted person in town, of something so unthinkable? It sounded crazy, impossible, ridiculous, so the warning was brushed off, and Shipman kept going. Imagine your grandma. Imagine her kindness, her warmth, her smile. Now imagine finding out she suddenly changed her will, leaving everything to her doctor. That's exactly what happened with Kathleen Grundy, a healthy, active, respected, elderly woman. When she died suddenly, Shipman claimed she died of old age. But something didn't sit right with her daughter, Angela, a lawyer. She found a will supposedly written by her mother, but the signature looked weird. The wording was strange, and it left everything to Dr. Shipman. No family. No charities, just him. Angela didn't buy it. She called the police, and this time, they listened. Picture this scene. It's early morning, cold, foggy, silent. Police officers stand around a cemetery, breath visible in the air. Reporters kept away. Lights off to avoid attention. They open Kathleen's grave. This isn't something families ever imagine happening. It's invasive. It's emotional. But it's the only way to get the truth. Samples were taken, sent to the lab, and when the results came back, everything changed. Kathleen's body contained massive, unnatural levels of morphine, the same drug Shipman used on himself, the same drug he'd watched ease his mother's pain. He'd injected it into her. And she wasn't the only one. Police searched his home, and what they found on his computer sealed his fate. Shipman had been editing patient medical records after they died. He'd kill them, then go to his computer, type false notes to make it look like they were already sick or dying. It was planned, calculated, cold. And now, there was no doubt. When the truth finally hit the town of Hyde, it didn't just shock people, it shattered them. Imagine learning the person who treated your mother may have been the one who took her life. Imagine realizing the doctor you hugged, thanked, trusted, betrayed your entire family. The courtroom was packed. People cried. People shook with anger. Some refused to believe it. They couldn't accept that the friendly doctor they loved was actually a predator. But the evidence didn't lie. The morphine, the forged will, the altered records, the death statistics. In January 2000, Harold Shipman was convicted. Shipman was officially convicted of 15 murders, but investigators now believe he killed over 200 people. Some say over 250. Others say it might be closer to 400 to this day. Nobody knows the exact number. Because Shipman chose victims no one would question. Elderly patients, mostly women, mostly alone at home. He killed quietly, softly, without violence. He used trust as his weapon, and trust leaves no fingerprints. Even today, the story haunts the medical world. Doctors are trusted. Doctors hold power. Doctors make life and death decisions every single day. And Shipman twisted that power into something unimaginable. His case changed laws, changed medical regulations, changed how deaths are recorded. It forced entire countries to ask hard questions. How much power should one doctor have? How do we protect patients? How do we catch a predator who hides behind kindness? The same questions echo, because trust is universal. And betrayal? That hits everywhere. In 2004, the world woke up to a final shock. Harold Shipman was found dead in his prison cell. No remorse, no confessions, no explanations. He took the last piece of truth with him, leaving families with questions that will never be answered. At the end of the day, this story isn't just about a doctor. It's about trust. It's about power. It's about the danger of assuming the people who smile the most are always the safest. And it's about the victims, ordinary people, loved by their families, taken far too soon. Their stories deserve to be remembered. Their voices deserve to be heard. And if there's one thing we can all learn from this, it's this: evil doesn't always show its face. Sometimes it hides under a great smile. So if you made it this far, thank you for honoring their memory by hearing their story. Hit that subscribe button, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and let's make sure stories like this never get forgotten. Because the more people who know what happened, the harder it is for monsters like Harold Shipman to hide. I'll see you in the next one.